Hey, really quick, you should check out our sponsor, the Janus smartwatch designed by Kronos Blade. I love mine. You can download any Android app, make phone calls, watch videos, track your heart rate. It has GPS. It has a dual camera for pictures, videos, and video calls, and one of the biggest screens out there, 1.6 inches. Check it out using the link right below. Okay, we are about to see true, what I call C-SPAN porn tomorrow. C-SPAN isn't normally the place for high ratings and exciting television, but it's usually instead a place for endless government testimony of all kinds. But tomorrow we might actually have arguably the most anticipated C-SPAN type testimony before elected officials, certainly in a very long time. And by far within the Trump presidency, I think a close second will be Michael Cohen's testimony some months ago. I expect former special prosecutor Robert Mueller's testimony tomorrow to be extremely noteworthy and newsworthy. You will recall that Robert Mueller filed a report summarizing his investigation into Donald Trump. And in that report, not only did he say he couldn't exonerate Donald Trump of obstruction, actually clarifying if we could have exonerated him, we would have said so. He actually indicated that on 14 possible counts of obstructive acts by the president, all three legal requirements to be criminal obstruction were met on 8 of those 14 possible obstructive acts. And he is going to be testifying tomorrow, and Donald Trump is truly panicking. We don't know what Mueller is going to say, but even if he merely states in clear terms what's in the report, it is going to be devastating to Donald Trump insofar as millions of Americans have no idea what's in the report. I've talked about this before. William Barr, in advance of the release of the Mueller report, put out this propaganda letter, very calculated political document, which was then used by Trump and the people around him to go on a national exoneration tour claiming no collusion, no obstruction. And of course, then the actual report came out, doesn't match in almost any way. When you look at the Barr letter, if you really read the Mueller report, you would say the Barr letter can't possibly be about the Mueller report, can it? Because it bears no resemblance to the content of the Mueller report. And that is why millions of Americans who are just busy living their lives, working their jobs, earning their widely stagnant wages, and bringing their kids to school, haven't read the Mueller report. And so if Mueller shows up tomorrow and is just asked about the contents of the report and explains what's in there, that alone will be devastating to Donald Trump. Never mind the fact that we might learn about so many other things that didn't make it into the report. So Trump, clearly panicking, starts tweeting yesterday that Robert Mueller simply shouldn't be allowed to testify at all, saying, quote, highly conflicted Robert Mueller should not be given another bite at the apple. In the end, it will be bad for him and the phony Democrats in Congress who have done nothing but waste time on this ridiculous witch hunt. Result of the Mueller report, no collusion, no obstruction. So there are 5 lies, at least, that I count in this short tweet by Donald Trump, which is sort of amazing, right? The economy of words with which the president can tell so many lies. He says, highly conflicted Robert Mueller. Mueller's a Republican and there's no evidence of any conflict. Number 2, that Mueller shouldn't be given another bite at the apple, implying that the testimony is a way for Mueller to get Trump indicted. That's not what the testimony is. Lie number 3, it will be bad for Mueller. Mueller's in his 70s and retired. I don't think it's going to do much for Mueller either way. Lie number 4, calling this a ridiculous witch hunt. There have been more than a dozen indictments, including top Trump staffers going to prison, plus evidence in Mueller's report of obstruction by the president of the United States on 8 counts. Doesn't sound like a witch hunt. And lie number 5, Mueller said no collusion, no obstruction. Of course, untrue. Mueller said he could not clear Trump of obstruction and found evidence of obstructive acts on 8 of the 14 possible counts. 5 lies in such a short tweet. But the most disturbing thing about this is not actually the lies. In a sense, we've kind of become numb to the lies. The most disturbing thing here is Trump suggesting that Mueller shouldn't be allowed to testify. There's no legal justification for not allowing Robert Mueller to testify. I don't believe Trump understands how guilty and insecure he looks when he does this, even though to his followers, it doesn't really matter. They fall for the fake news witch hunt talking points no matter what. But this is why it's imperative that Robert Mueller testify. This is why it's so important that the content of the Mueller report is published so that clear thinking people who, again, they're not avoiding the Mueller report per se. They heard about the Barr letter. They're busy working. They're busy raising kids. They're living their lives. They simply haven't read the Mueller report and don't know what's in it. He must testify so that more Americans, hopefully millions or tens of millions of Americans, are exposed to the factual, empirical content of the report. Trump's only objection to Mueller's testimony, in reality, is Mueller testifying has the potential to be really, really bad for me being Trump. That cannot be allowed to silence people. We'll be watching tomorrow for sure. I hope that there's no funny business in the very end, in the run up to this testimony, because it's extraordinarily important. And I look forward to seeing it, and we'll be covering it on the show.